My biggest takeaway, and there's a list, and I know in us, we're going to go and get layered on this. Belichick is truly a genius, man. And I know I say that all the time, and you look at me and you kind of scoff at it because this is not even in jest. You're young. You were born in 1990. I knew who Bill Belichick was in 1990, and I saw the slow build. Do you know what the K-Gun offense was? Buffalo Bills. You remember you've heard Buffalo Bills 4 straight Super Bowl losses, correct? They had an offense that was next to none, second to none, insane in terms of their offensive production. And then they met this guy by the name of Bill Belichick in the Super Bowl. And Bill Belichick was a difference maker. Everyone used to talk about Bill Belichick, who would just draw up a defense you'd never seen before and run it to perfection. So I've seen the slow build of Bill Belichick, probably more so than you. Now, what I saw yesterday was that genius at play, having a chess match for the ages with his young prodigy, his greatest accomplishment, Tom Brady. And Tom Brady was playing chess back with the guy who taught him how to play chess. It was insane. Even announcing the game, Chris Collinsworth had to stop down a couple of times and be like, do y'all know what y'all watching right here? I saw defenses that I played defense my entire career. I raised my hand and said, I've never seen that before. I don't know what flow pattern is this. The linebacker, Belichick ran a 3-6-3 one time in umbrella, but the linebackers are really DBs, and then guys went cross center face cuff. I was like, huh? And Brady had to deal with this. Now, how did he deal with this? That wasn't Tom Brady out there. What we saw, he made a machine look like a man. And that's hard to do when you're talking about the GOAT. I got a full screen right here to illustrate what I'm talking about, because I'm not just talking out the side of my mouth. Look at these numbers in terms of production when it comes to Tom Brady. We call this HC1, because y'all always want to talk about QB1. Let's talk about HC1, Bill Belichick. Tom Brady versus the Patriots. Oh, my God. Worse? Tom Brady, the GOAT. Tom Brady passing yards. Worse? The GOAT. Tom Brady yards per attempt. Worse? The GOAT. Touchdowns. The GOAT. Passer rate. The GOAT. Take that off. No, that's not Justin Fields from a week ago. That's Tom Brady, the GOAT, brother. All I'm saying is, man, y'all got to give this man his flowers. I understand we always want to divide it because we want to say, who made the Patriot way? Was it Belichick or Brady? Last night showed you what was happening. Bill Belichick designed something that he taught Tom Brady to take to Tampa Bay. But boy, Bill Belichick's a genius.
I agree. My biggest takeaway was we witnessed history last night. And let's never for a moment take that for granted. We forget oftentimes, even now, we're living through history. Hopefully one day our kids or our kids' kids will tell us, wait, y'all have to wear masks? Once upon a time, or hopefully worst case scenario, we might hear, wait, y'all used to not have to wear masks once upon a time?
Yeah.
Either way, we're living through history. And last night we witnessed history. Here is the biggest takeaway that you should take, that I should take, that Marcellus I agree with. We witnessed the 2 greatest ever doing what they do great. We witnessed Bill Belichick, who to me is the greatest defensive mind ever. Even more so than he is a great head coach, he is a great defensive mind. Why do I say this? We all know 8 of the 9 Super Bowl appearances, Bill Belichick, they had top 10 scoring defenses. 5 of those wins, they had top 5 Super Bowl scoring defenses. So we know that Bill Belichick is an incredible defensive mind. But beyond all that, Tom Brady's a great winner. And what did we see yesterday? Sell your full screen, it explained it perfectly. Tom Brady, only second time he's had no passing touchdowns.
Hello.
Tom Brady, worst completion percentage since he's been in Tampa. So we're talking about 20 games right there. Tom Brady, 70 passer rating. That's his 3rd worst since he's been in Tampa. So Bill Belichick showed that he is a brilliant defensive mind. But Tom Brady, even in the midst of all that, he still won. And Tom Brady is the greatest winner the game of football has ever seen.
Yes.
Might not be the most talented quarterback. He might not be the most athletic quarterback. He might not have the best arm. But he is the greatest winner. And what happened last night? Tom Brady won. Bill Belichick, a great defensive mind. He stifled Tom Brady in ways Tom Brady has not been stifled since he got to Tampa Bay.
Insane.
So Bill Belichick did what he has done best. He did it best last night. And Tom Brady did what he will forever be known for. He did that last night. So my huge takeaway is we saw the 2 best at what they do do that best.
Yeah, but you got to understand that Belichick did it even better than Brady, even though Brady won the game. This was so crazy. This is why I don't fully respect Super Bowl champions. But I fully respect all Hall of Famers, and I fully respect anybody who goes out there and individually does their job to the highest level, which the Hall of Fame celebrates. You know why? Because you could get lost in the sauce. Tom Brady had his worst performance, but he wins, and we forget about how he performed. Same thing happened last year if you look at his postseason run. Tom Brady was declining those postseason games. Tom Brady was riding the defense. There's no shot at Tom Brady. Tom Brady was throwing for 55% winning games. Tom Brady threw for 201 yards, 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, 201 yards, won the game. Tom Brady, his first 5 games in New England in the playoffs, had a 58 completion percentage, a 70 passer rating, was a Super Bowl champion. Tom Brady has always benefited by, at times, subpar performances, but winning accomplishments. That's a problem for me. This is another problem I have. I felt the slight that you took at Bill Belichick. Please tell me you didn't intend this. Just tell me that you got kind of caught up between your notes. You said he's the greatest defensive mind ever, but not the greatest head coach. Did you mean that? Did you really mean that?
I meant that in the same manner in which we say Tom Brady's the greatest winner ever, but he might not be the greatest quarterback.
Okay.
In the same exact parallel and analogy, I mean, that someone might say that.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick, to me, is a greater defensive mind even than he is a head coach.
So he's not the greatest head coach to you?
I haven't done enough due diligence, but I'm not.
Really?
I don't have the conviction in my heart to say, because here's what I know.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Without Tom Brady, I don't think Bill Belichick has all those Super Bowls, but his defense is still stout. But his defense is still stout.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying Bill Belichick is the greatest defensive mind because he didn't need Tom Brady for that. Without Tom Brady, you saw just how good Bill Belichick is on defense. But I don't think Bill Belichick wins.
Okay.
Whereas with Tom Brady, that is what makes Bill Belichick the greatest head coach.
Isn't this beautiful that you can't separate, like, the heads and the tails of this coin? Like, we can always flip it and we can say, oh, it's heads, it's tails. Try and pull them apart. You can't. You can't pull Belichick and Brady apart, man. It's the value of them together. And so everything you said, flip it. Well, what would Brady have done without Belichick? That's the point. Now, people will lend themselves to say, okay, you got Belichick, give him Aaron Rodgers. Okay, you got Brady, give him who's the next greatest head coach? Who is that? Mike Tomlin? Brady and Tomlin? Is that getting closer to 6 than Belichick and Aaron Rodgers? That's kind of the conversation I love to have. I don't like the outfield conversations or the annex field conversations. I don't know how you play Pop Warner football, but we used to play Pop Warner football on the main field, then take the pads off and play another game with all the little homies on the side field, right? And I grew up with that mentality. Like, dog, the side field is cool. Because then you go in the real game, I had 4 touchdowns. Go on the side field, I'm kind of tired. I want some chili cheese Fritos. Not really all invested in that. And then all of a sudden, somebody else is balling out of control with no pads on. That ain't real. I don't want to have a side field conversation. Greatest defensive mind. Belichick's the greatest head coach. I digress. Last night, my other takeaway was Belichick, without any running game. You know how many rushing yards they had last night, net rushing yards? -1. That means, that's the game right there. They went backwards 1 yard and still were a 56-yard field goal and a baby monsoon away from winning that game. Belichick's a mug, man. I want to curse. Belichick is a mug, bruh.
Here's the thing, though, Sel. How come all the opponents of Tom Brady always end up with that same sentiment you just had? Man, we were so close. It was just a little, almost like it's always a coincidence. Think back, Cowboys fans. You don't have to think very long.
Yes.
But we won that game. If not for them, all them missed field goals. How come whenever you face Tom Brady, it's always, man, that don't really count? No. It's no longer coincidence. For whatever reason,
Facts.
Tom Brady's not making the mistake you're making. Tom Brady's team isn't making the mistake your team is making. Because, again, Saints in the playoffs, they could have been like, man, if not for, Drew Brees having his worst historical playoff game ever. Packers fans, I'm sure right after that, man, if not for King or our cornerback number 20 out there getting beat deep right before half, everybody has an excuse. Even Chiefs fans. Man, we were missing our 2 starting left tackles at the beginning of the season. But Tom Brady never has excuses. He just has rings and wins. So I feel you, in theory, the kick in the middle of the monsoon. But here's the story. Let's be real. Had he made the kick and the Patriots gone up, Tom Brady would have let his team down and scored.
Oh, you already know.
And won again.
Aaron Rodgers versus the San Francisco 49ers.
At the end of the day, all Tom Brady does is win.
Yeah.
So it's just funny that because we do it. We're like, man, we were so close. But Tom Brady's like, yes, that's cute, but you were never actually going to win.
See, I don't believe that part. See, this is what you do. You will start way over here, and you know that ain't going to get me going, right? Then you'll say something that I actually agree with. You'll pull at my heartstring. You'll say MJ. So when you say MJ, you got my heart. You know that. And then once you got me, you take me right back over there again. Bruh, we're going to stop that in this show. We're going to reproduce this show. Here's the problem with what you're saying right now. Tom Brady was playing against his former team. He's going against his former head coach. Come on, bruh. We've been in those kind of games, those reunion games, right? What do you want to do? Two things. Show up and show out. I mean, you want to go for 500 yards, 19 touchdowns, et cetera, et cetera. Do you want to put up worse? This lets me know who really won the Belichick versus Brady last night. Not the Patriots versus Bucks. Get it again. Belichick versus Brady. You know why Belichick already arranged to have a 20-minute meeting post-game with him? Because he already knew the outcome. He said, y'all might beat us because we sorry. But guess what? You ain't going to beat me, and that's why I'm going to sit down and see you go through this. I give you an example, and this is not the same magnitude, but I got to personalize it. I played against the Buffalo Bills after I went to San Diego. And when we played them, we had a pregame riot. It was real. Cats were beefing. We were going at it. First series of the game, 2 sacks. 1 tackle for loss. I balled out that game. You know why? Had to show up. Had to show out. Did we win the game? I ain't gonna lie. I don't even remember. But the point is, I had to show up and show out. You think Tom Brady, here's Marcellus. Tom Brady way up there. He's still going. You think that guy up there with that ego and those accomplishments didn't want to show up and show out? But he didn't because he lost that individual matchup.
He did want to show up and show out. You are correct. But I know this much, and this is all I'm going to say in my conclusion, is Tom Brady would have rather won the game and had his worst statistical performances of the season than lost the game and have his best statistical performances of the season. Why do I know that? Because post-game, Tom Brady took a slight at himself. He said, I want to thank all of my receivers. Y'all know I can't catch. How many times have y'all seen that play against the Eagles?
Yeah, that's
because against the Eagles, Tom Brady set an NFL record in the Super Bowl for passing yards, but lost the game. I don't think Tom Brady cares about throwing for that 500 he did against the Eagles. He cares about that loss. So Tom Brady, yes, he would have liked to throw for 500 and won last night, but I think he ultimately knows he won because on a scoreboard.
Interesting.